Well, that was confusing.
I don't even know where to begin on that.
Let's talk about Loki, because if you didn't understand any of it,
Neither did we.
Okay, I have to admit, I did like the show.
I think the only thing that I found wasn't that great about it is that it was still very confusing.
So we're going to do our best to try and recap this, but
Forgive us if it's not entirely accurate. Alright, so we start off somewhere in the Marvel Universe. I think it was like Avengers Endgame. So Loki, god of mischief, ends up getting kidnapped by the TVA, which stands for Time Variance Authority.
wait, is it Time Variant Authority?
Time variance? Because it's like variance of
Yeah, but it's a time variant.
See? Time variance.
So the job of the Time Variance Authority is to prune off any variants that might create a brand new timeline in order not to create a multiverse of madness. And apparently Loki picking up the Tesseract was not meant to happen. So instead of pruning off this variant of Loki, he was used to find a more dangerous variant that was hiding during great apocalyptic events.
Turns out this dangerous Loki is a woman who calls herself Sylvie. She goes by Sylvie.
So to not go into too many spoilers, Loki and Sylvie get stuck in other timelines, form close friendship after a few back and forths of mistrust and deceit.
Which then leads to them falling in love with themselves. However that works.
So their love, their handhold to be exact, formed a nexus event, which basically means there was another branch that was about to form.
So basically the rest of the series is them trying to figure out who's behind the TVA. They go into voids and they have their realms and they meet other variant Lokis of themselves.
Like an old Loki, a young Loki, and a crocodile Loki.
Yes, we said crocodile Loki.
So there was a lot going on in this 6-episode miniseries that you cannot recap within 3 minutes. Personally, I wasn't really a fan of Loki before the series came out, but after watching so much Marvel already and just seeing a new side to his character,
Yeah, he actually got a very likable character by the end of it.
this variant anyway.
This variant. We're not going into that. And I really liked Sylvie, who was the other Loki variant, the girl one. She actually made it like she was Loki.
She was still different.
She was still different, yeah. And actually none of us expected that was gonna happen.
It definitely didn't feel like an exact replica, but you can tell she was a Loki.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why it sort of made sense that Loki technically fell in love with himself. I know that a lot of people sort of found it a little bit weird to have him fall in love with himself, but if you think about it, he is really self-loving anyway, so it made sense.
To a point. The story was interesting. It was interesting. The soundtrack, though, was amazing. I mean, this composer, she knew what she was doing.
Oh, definitely.
Doggies.
Also, we've got a little guest with us right now.
Say hello.
I loved how they also incorporated that little bit of Norse,
Yeah, and
like the Viking.
and
Yeah, the Vikings
They
out
had
in the music.
everything in this series, it was like mushed into one theme.
It was also good how they fixed up a few things in Endgame, because let's just say that too much to go into, but the timeline and time travel theory that they were going through in Endgame was a little bit out there. I can't wrap my head around it, but yeah, just them saying that it was supposed to happen just sort of fixed it up a little bit.
Yeah. And I just want to say, Owen Wilson playing Mobius, which was like, Owen Wilson to me is kind of that actor that I've known all my life. So to see him play an older character of himself, it was just, he just knows how to act it so well. Also really liked how Loki redeemed himself, because he was like the bad guy in all the Marvel series. So it was good to finally see his good side of him.
And I think he always did have a good side. It was sort of shadowed by Thor. But that doesn't mean to say that there weren't a lot of things that we didn't like about Loki. Firstly, way too much talking.
Too much
Like
talking.
the 40-minute episodes or 15-minute episodes could have been cut down to half an hour. It was just too long to get to the point.
And even so, when they did talk, it was There was nothing but talking. There was no music.
There was just a lot of info dumps especially the first 2 episodes.
And it wasn't even really interesting info dump. It was just bleh.
And it was just really annoying because all you saw was zooming in and zooming out, and they were just talking on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
And then it came to the end episode. The villain, I don't even know if he was the villain. He wasn't as grand as they made it out to be. This was the timekeeper, the one that overrushed everything, and yet he just looked like this normal dude.
I know that this is leading into Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but there was too many cliffhangers. Way too many. I think I counted like 5 different cliffhangers. It needed to be wrapped up more.
Because initially the actual end it's interesting. Like, you're like, oh, I actually want to know what happens next. But at the same time, if they wrapped things up, just a few more things up a bit better, it would have been a lot more complete, satisfying ending.
And I would have liked in the talking scenes if they actually showed what they were talking about rather than just watching these people go back and forth in pointless discussion. Not to say that we didn't like it, just those things could have made the show a lot better.
So thank you so much for watching our review on Loki.
Please don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe.
And comment down what you thought of Loki and if you understood the timeline or not. Bye!
Wait, what?